Hey guys, it's Senti Reads, and as you can see from the video title, I have more Amberlynn Snapchats to talk about. And no, this is not clickbait. I did write spicy Amberlynn fanfic at her request, so stay tuned to see how that came out. As per usual, I'm going to keep this video focused on writing and books, and this time I came prepared with more receipts for everything that I'll be talking about. So with that out of the way, let's jump right in. I know I said this video was about Amber's Snapchats, but she talked about reading in one of her most recent videos.
So as you guys know, I've been having a hard time reading. Reading is like one of my most favorite things to do, but like my attention span is like rough. But I've been trying to read. Every single day I tell myself I have to read for at least 20 minutes, and I really try to focus. It's freaking hard, but I just miss books, you know? So right now I'm reading Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chubowski. I'm bad at pronouncing, but that's okay. This is actually the author from Perks of a Wallflower, so if you guys have ever read that, that's awesome. So this is more like a horror book. I'm on chapter 14, page 78. It's just about this little boy who follows like this cloud into the forest, and there's like creatures and all this stuff, and then 6 days later he is found and he doesn't remember anything that happened, and it's very horror. So I'm excited, like, what happened in those freaking woods, bro? Like, let me know.
It looks like Amberlynn is trying to break her reading slump. I've actually read Imaginary Friend, but I couldn't finish it because it's super long and very slow paced. The plot simply wasn't engaging enough for me to finish, and it's not the book I'd recommend for anyone who's trying to get back into reading after a long slump. Not a question, lol, but if you're looking for a good book to read, you should read The Inheritance Games. The chapters are really short and it's really good. I love short chapters, keeps me on my toes, but I actually have that book, I just haven't read it yet. I've also read The Inheritance Games, and it's way more up Amberlynn's alley than Imaginary Friend. Inheritance Games is a young adult novel about a girl who's given a huge, like billionaire huge, inheritance from a man she's never met before and knows nothing about. And in his will, it states that for her to get this inheritance, she must live in his mansion with his super hot grandsons for some period of time, like a year, I can't really remember. And the whole point is that the family is super into puzzles and riddles, so the grandsons assume that this random girl getting the inheritance is some kind of riddle that they have to solve, which is obviously the case. And there's a love triangle, and there's all sorts of shenanigans. It's a really fun book if you want an easy read. It kind of feels like more like an anime than a book, but it's chill. Trigger warning, death. You should read The Midnight Library. It's about a girl who dies, and in the in-between, she gets to live all the lives she ever wanted. Short chapters. I've read that book, and I didn't like it much. Yet again, I've also read The Midnight Library. A young woman is caught between life and death and finds herself at the Midnight Library, where each book is a different version of a life that she could have lived. And this book is her trying out all those other lives, and it has a very obvious, the grass is always greener kind of message, like appreciate your life, appreciate what you have. I thought it was overly sappy at times, and I didn't really like it much myself, but I'm shocked Amberlynn didn't like it. Amberlynn's writing tends to be overdramatic, emotional, and she's easily swayed by those things as well, so I thought she'd like this book. Moving away from books, let's get into some writing content. Why not invest in an iPad and Apple Pen, much more sustainable than buying journals? Because I like the act of writing. Interesting, she likes physically writing in her journals, yet she writes all her poems on her phone. Which one is it, girl? You'd still be physically writing, it's just not on paper, so you'd still be doing the act of writing. I like pen on paper, without technology. To be fair, if I was going to keep a journal, I'd probably also prefer to write it with a pen and paper, but I do all of my novel writing digitally. It's easier to edit when digital, which, as I've harped on enough, editing isn't optional. Journal writing doesn't really require editing, though Amberlynn does tend to like to rewrite the narrative. iPads are not more sustainable than pen and paper. They have to mine the earth to make these technology, and the batteries will eventually need to be replaced if you haven't already bought another by that point. You right. I just like writing, though. Like on paper. Good lord, who cares? Let our girl write with pen and paper if she wants. This is the same girl who filmed herself pouring plastic water bottles into a bigger plastic bottle. Amberlynn doesn't care about sustainability. The next section is going to get spicy, so maybe end the video here if you aren't interested in hearing about our girl's sexual escapades. Don't say I didn't warn you. Pretty sure Alex just has a weird fetish. Why did you go from talking about normal stuff to BDSM and all that shit? Seems weird, IDK. Ha ha ha, no. I've been writing a BDSM novel for about 5 years now. Has absolutely nothing to do with her. I just finally found someone I want to dominate me. So, there's a lot to unpack here, but my previous theory about her supposed 200k novel being different from the BDSM novel appears to have just been busted. I don't know for sure, obviously, but I can't see Amberlynn working on multiple novels at a time. She crams every idea she has into one novel instead of saving certain concepts for other works. Take Scotty, for example. All in the same book, there's a supposed love story with Scotty and whatever that girl's name was, a hate crime, teen pregnancy, Scotty's mom gets cancer, Scotty's ex-boyfriend grooms her little sister, the list goes on. But back to this novel. As I said in my previous video, 200k is way too long for an erotica. Assuming this BDSM book is the 200k word novel and she's been working on it for 5 years, that means she's written about 40k words yearly. That breaks down to about 110 words daily, which is an insanely low output. For context, I wrote about 115k words in 2021 because I'm a nerd and I track those things. And even that only breaks down to about 315 words daily, which is a fairly low output. Keep in mind, I work a full-time job while Amberlynn does not, but comparing yourself to Amberlynn is a pretty low bar, so I'm going to try not to do that. Also to note, I didn't start medication for my ADHD until August of 2021, and my writing output increased exponentially after that. Amberlynn has been talking about potentially having ADHD recently, and as I just said, I'm trying not to compare myself to her, so I'm not going to comment on whether or not I think she has ADHD. All I'll say about the matter is that I'd expect someone who has such a passion and talent for writing to, actually write something. And no, I'm not counting her journaling as writing. I don't think I need to explain to you girls that writing fiction and journaling are two very different things. Well, maybe not for Amberlynn. Would you be okay with someone writing an erotic fanfic about you? Go for it. Keep in mind, I prefer lace underwear, and I currently smell like Gucci guilty for those descriptive narrations. God, please forgive me for what I'm about to do, but first I need to do a little research. Have you ever performed oral sex on a partner? Yes, a lot. I doubt that, especially after Amberlynn's previous comments about being a pillow princess, which she has since tried to claim she never said for some weird reason. To be clear, I don't doubt that Amber has ever given oral to a partner, but I doubt she does it frequently. What's a kink you have participated in with Alex? Her spitting in my mouth, lol. I have a borderline phobia of spit, so I'm going to quickly move on from this one. Would you suck your GF's toes? Yes. Now, I don't have a phobia of toes, but you're not going to catch me sucking on one. Not even a toe fresh from the shower. Nuh-uh, not going to happen. Keep those piggies to yourself. If you were a kink, what would you be? Chocolate-covered strawberries after being tied up and letting her do whatever she wants to me? Hungerly. First off, this is a super weird way to skirt around asking Amberlynn what her kinks are. Secondly, chocolate-covered strawberries aren't a kink. Eating food in the bedroom is a kink, but food itself is not a kink. Thirdly, tying people up can actually be pretty dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, so I don't recommend it for people like Amberlynn who have extensive medical issues, because think about how often she has those cat scratches that never heal. Like, she does not have any business getting spanked or whatever with her wounds that never heal. Fourthly, the word that Amberlynn is looking for is hungrily, not hungerly. In some of her other Snapchats, she specifically uses the word hunger in reference to sex, like, we were hungry for each other and stuff like that, which I'm not really into. Our girl is apparently always thinking about food. Well, that's enough research. This is your second warning that things are about to get spicy. If you don't want to hear the absolutely cursed Amberlynn erotica I'm about to share, click away now. Obviously, it can't be too explicit because it's going on YouTube, but you might not like what you're about to hear, so this is a warning. I think it's pretty tame. I feel like I'm overhyping it with this sort of disclaimer, so I'm just going to get right into it. It's really not that bad. Alex's fingers trail down my body, caressing the areas that have been rubbed raw by rope. I'm untied now, but I can still feel the delicious ache of the hemp digging into my skin. As she continues downward, a deep hunger ignites within me. She reaches the plate balancing on my belly and plucks a chocolate-covered strawberry from it. Can I have one, Daddy? I bat my magnetic eyelash extensions at her and pucker my lips. I'm wearing her favorite perfume, Gucci Guilty. Wife, I mean Alex, can't resist the floral and fruity notes of geranium and pink pepper accents. Alex runs the strawberry over my lips. I giggle daintily and open my mouth, darting my shovel tongue out to show her what that mouth do. The chocolate leaves a faint whisper on my tongue as she snatches away the delectable treat. You're out of Weight Watchers points, kitten. She pops the strawberry into her own mouth. Maybe if you're lucky, I'll spit in your mouth and you can get a taste. The hunger inside me melts away to rage, but I play it cool. I've more than earned my reward with the last hour of heaven I gave Alex. Reaching up, I adjust my plastic tiara. It went askew during all the action. My bun has mostly been knocked loose, and my hair cascades over my shoulders. I twirl my fingers through my sideburns and pucker my lips again. Pretty, please? Alex grabs the plate and stands up to bring it across the room to the dresser. She returns to the bed, leaning down to scoop up my clothes. I snatch my torn black lace cheeky panty in size 6 from her ungrateful hands. What does she think she's doing to me after all I've done for her? If you want these berries, then you'll have to come get them out of the mailbox. Her tone leaves little room for disagreement. Staring into my eyes, she smirks, daring me to disagree. Fuck off, I'll just DoorDash them. So I know that wasn't really erotica, but I did my best. Y'all didn't really expect me to write a scene of Amberlynn Reid moaning and boning with definitely not wifey, right? Anyway, now is a great time to mention that my mom watches my videos. I love you, Mom. Please don't disown me. With that, I'm going to end it here. I'll see you girls in the next one. Thanks for watching.